So good to have your company again, Sagittarius. It's April 2014, I'm Dadhichi. And, a really significant thing has happened lately. A tremendous amount of power has just shifted for the first time in 18 months. And what I'm talking about are the karmic nodes, these invisible points in the heavens, which relate to our karma, our past karma, and our future karma. And right now, these very powerful vortexes of energy have shifted to influence your social circle, your social interactions, and your more personal romantic affiliations. And as well, we see a recent new moon in the area of your romantic affiliations with Uranus there as well. So this tremendous power is definitely over this, not just this next month, but for the next 12 to 18 months, going to shake things up in that area of your life. You've also got Mars sitting there in this zone of friendship for quite a few months. It's going to be a very long, drawn out and somewhat intense period for you in terms of your friendships. And so what we see here in your horoscope is this combined influence of Mars and your karmic North Node, which indicates a very strong drive to understand your prevailing conditions, the current cultural circumstances that you're in, and to really, I suppose, find that pathway for yourself in your social activities that really fits what you need at this time in your life. Of course, when we talk about karma, it's a pretty big word. We talk about the importance of mixing with those sort of people that we feel comfortable with, that can actually meet not just the party sort of mode that we're into, but the spiritual, emotional and mental needs that we have. And this is where I think a lot of your drive is going to be over the coming months. Of course, having the new moon in the 5th house of love affairs is not a bad omen either for meeting new people. If you're not already involved in a relationship, finding someone that's going to meet your particular requirements in that area as well. Now, an interesting thing here, and we see probably around towards the end of the first week of the month, the position of the moon in contact with Jupiter, and this Jupiter's at the right angle to Uranus and this 5th house of love affairs. So what that tells me is that you're ready to take a bit of a gamble on love, Sagittarius. And I say, why not? Because, sometimes, even if an astrologer, or even if your own intuition tells you, maybe this is not the right sort of person, your experience, your karmic requirements are that you go through that experience and learn from that experience. So I say, if you meet someone new now, someone a little bit zany, that's the Uranus influence in this part of your horoscope, then by all means explore that. You need to understand what the extent, the highs and the lows of a relationship, and what you can endure and what you're not prepared to accept. And that's only going to come through your trial and error, really, if I could put it that way. We see around the 15th, again, the moon will swing around into that 11th house. So I'm focusing exclusively this month on this area of romance, but importantly, relationships. Much more importantly, around the 15th of April, the eclipse there in the 11th house. So that is also a very powerful activation of these karmic forces, because eclipses only take place when the moon and the sun are on these karmic axes. So I'll be saying around that time, the full force of this new cycle is going to be felt, and at least you'll have an inkling into what it is you're supposed to do, who it is you're supposed to eliminate out of your life as well, because, of course, unless there's enough space in your, life to bring in new people, that's not going to happen. And that obviously can take place when you eliminate those things that are not necessarily of use to you anymore. It sounds horrible talking about people like this, but that's exactly what it is, friendships, relationships, the circumstances you're in. at different times of your life suit different purposes. So now it's time to bite the bullet and perhaps, do the unpleasant thing, and that is to remove those sort of people, those sort of relationships that aren't going to serve you anymore. We see that continuing up to, I guess, around the third week of April, where we see Uranus and Venus also in hard aspects there, what we call the right angle aspects to Pluto, and Venus to the Sun on the 22nd, and Mars to Jupiter on the 23rd. They're the hard aspects that can challenge you quite a bit and also bring some of these relationship issues into focus, if not cause you to do what I just suggested, and that is to bring things to a head and eliminate them in a timely manner. You've got to be a little bit fearless to do that as well, because sometimes we get so bogged down in the habitual routine of those relationships that we want to hang on to that. And it's not an easy thing to let go of those things that have become dear to us, that have become comfortable, even though in a sense they're not that comfortable. It's just what we know rather than what we don't know. So you, more than any of the other star signs, Sag, should be able to look forward to the unknown. You've got a spirit of adventure, and I'll be saying that as this new karmic cycle commences, it's time for you to put on your best Sagittarian cap and move forward into that unknown with that spirit of adventure and exploration that is so much your signature. Towards the end of the month, we have another eclipse. It's quite interesting, 2 eclipses in 1 month. Here we see the second one, the solar eclipse on the 29th in the 6th sector. And mind you, these eclipses don't always give the results straight away. We see that this one may take a month or two to really fully give you the effects of what it's meant to do. And this 6th house has to do with your work, your health, and your day-to-day activities in your workplace. So this is also another area that's going to feature very, very strongly in your life. And maybe this is going to be the area that's going to give you a little bit of balance against all of those strong karmic forces that we see in the social area of your life. I hope so. And we'll talk more about your career and work next month. I'll be back at that time. Hopefully in the meantime you'll join me at astrology.com.au, and you can find more detailed analysis in the textual form for your month, day and year in focus. And take care till I see you next time. Bye-bye.